Thank you for having me today. I'm really grateful to be here, to have an opportunity to speak before you all, and have the opportunity to also share a message with you that will be hopefully something you can take. I would like to share with you today how to properly memorize, leveraging your brain's actual mechanical structure to better be able to memorize and recall the information you so desire to be able to share or perform in front of others. As Toastmasters, this is very important. We are encouraged to not use notes and to be able to recall our information to be able to appear natural. Today we're going to do that. I will show you how. And in fact, you will know how to give my speech I'm giving today by the end, and you will have it memorized. Now we're going to put your brains to work. I want everybody to close their eyes. We're going to practice. Picture yourself standing in front of the building where you work. Or excuse me, we're going to picture yourself standing in front of your residence, your apartment, your home, wherever you live. You see it? Notice what time of day it is. How much sunlight there is inside. Feel the temperature on your skin. Got it? Open your door, walk inside. In your living room stands none other than Shakespeare himself in really tacky-looking red tights. With the skull in his hand, he is declaring famous lines from his play, Shakespeare, Hamlet. To be or not to be? That is the question. Walking past that weird guy, let's listen to all of your electronic devices, your appliances, buzzing their approval. In your kitchen, standing next to your kitchen sink, is none other than a clown. For some reason I can't explain. He has a unicycle, one of those annoying horns that honk, wah, 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 and he's juggling. Finally, notice your walls. They erupt in color, dancing across the surface, video, blankets every square inch. Got it? Open your eyes. You may not realize this yet, but you have just memorized the entirety of my speech. Pretty easy, right? Now, I think this requires an explanation. How this actually works, what you just did, and how to interpret what you just did. The best way to do this is with this story. 2,500 years ago, a poet named Simonides was a famous orator. He created great poems and tended to give them the exact same way. He would go to banquets, to parties, and make his living by making his presentation. After one such event, he left the building, and immediately thereafter, the walls of the building came crashing down, crushing the inhabitants therein. All perished. The bodies of the dead were so badly mangled, they were unidentifiable. Their loved ones couldn't even give their dead a proper burial. Simonides had an idea. He closed his eyes and was able to recall the relative spatial location of where all the guests sat. So he took the hands of the loved ones and walked with them by memory to the precise location where all their kin perished. Later, Simonides wondered, why was it so much easier to remember where everybody sat when I wasn't even trying? When it's so much more difficult to memorize my poems when I am trying? He was onto something. Today, we better understand why. Our brains work this way. Our spatial memory is vastly superior to our ability to recall facts, figures, names, dates, faces, and many other types of such information. Our brains work so effectively this way that it allows people with average memories, or poor memories, to be able to become the world's best memorizers, competing internationally, performing seemingly impossible feats, such as taking 32 decks of randomly shuffled playing cards and memorizing the exact sequence and suit of every single card in less than 30 minutes. That wows me. But is this just a hoax? Does it really work like this? I bet few, if any of you, can remember the first 10 words I just told you about a story of Siamese. But I bet most, if not all of you, could tell me who is standing in your living room, what they're wearing, who is standing next to your kitchen sink, and what they're doing. Your brain remembered, didn't it? This is how it works. You picture yourself doing something you're very familiar with. I placed you in front of your homes. You take a walk. You imagine very vivid, strange, bizarre, stinky, raunchy things that catch your attention. So as you walk by, you notice them. And you associate those things with what you're trying to remember. In this case, in my speech, what you just memorized was, as you walk in, Shakespeare would remind you that you're going to talk about the poet Simonides. In your kitchen, or the appliances there, would remind you to talk about modern understanding, scientific evidence of how your brain works. And a few fun facts about what we do today with this knowledge. In the kitchen, you would see the clown, and I would remind you to talk about that this is no joke, this is just how our brain works, and explain the process by which it works. And finally, those walls dancing with color would tell you to do exactly what I'm doing right now, and that is replaying my entire speech before you. This is just how our brains naturally work. It's very easy to do. You too can become great memorizers. Simply walk down memory lane.